Finally heading out of the 10, this dreary Barbra Streisand directed and starring project, 7 weeks on the chart and close to 60 million at the box office, The Prince of Tides. One of the most successful Disney films ever, Beauty and the Beast, drops a couple of places to this week's number 9, still going very strongly considering it's been 13 weeks on the chart. In this week alone, it got 2 million at the box office during the week, and it now has 107 million in total. That's just in the US, plus a fair bit of critical praise and some Oscar noms as well, including one win. That's Beauty and the Beast at number 9 this week. Also closing in on the $60 million mark is Oliver Stone's multi-award nominated, critically appraised and much talked about JFK film starring Kevin Costner as the FBI agent desperate to crack the case wide open. 8 weeks on the chart now. Dropping 2 places to this week's number 7 is Lawrence Kasdan's Grand Canyon, Welcome to the 90s, as the tagline says. So this has been on the chart for 7 weeks now, and it stars Kevin Kline as the middle-class lawyer who strikes up an unlikely friendship with Danny Glover's guy from the other side of the tracks in this a somber indie hit. And for the second straight week, Steve Martin's other film on this chart, Father of the Bride, the more commercial-friendly film, stays just ahead of Grand Canyon, 73 million at the box office now. What's to bet it doesn't crack 100? Last week's new entry, Shining Through, starts off the top 5 with its stars Michael Douglas and Melanie Griffin, probably the best thing to recommend this super cheesy, baffling wartime drama, as Siskel and Ebert explain.
Called Shining Through, an old-fashioned World War II melodrama that is a better love story than a fighting the Nazis espionage story. The best part of the film is the opening verbal byplay between would-be employee Melanie Griffith and her tough, mysterious boss-to-be, Michael Douglas. Shining Through goes wrong is when Griffith, the daughter of a Jewish father, decides she wants to spy on the Nazis too. Some corny dialogue here.
I want you to taste my strudel, the way my grandmother taught me to make it, and my apple compote. She taught me to cook German style, the way my grandfather likes it. And I could cook for 50 if I had to. 5 courses, the way they do it in Berlin. And on nights when they didn't have people over, I could bring tea and strudel up to the Drescher's study and put a little schnapps in the tea so that Horst and Hedda would get tired and could retire early, and I could be left alone in the study to clean up.
Work anymore, I don't think, to make a melodrama about World War II in general and the Nazis in particular. We know too much about that era. A movie without some real bite on those subjects can really come across as trivial. Now, I did like the chemistry between Michael Douglas and Melanie Griffith, so I guess what I felt at the end of Shining Through is a wish to see these 2 actors cast one more time together, but in a much more substantial movie.
You know, I kept trying to tell myself it was only a movie and I should try to enjoy it and suspend my disbelief a little bit. But how many, just as a general question, Gene, I don't know if you have an answer for this or not, how many times do you think an English-speaking spy could go into Nazi Germany and come out again by the ploy of pulling out a card saying, wounded war veteran can't speak, and pointing at a blood-stained bandage around his throat? How many times do you think that would work before somebody would catch you?
Do you know what I'm talking about, where this period of time, you can't play it this light?
Yeah, it's not dinner parties and serving the soup at the wrong temperature and being fired as the cook and then being hired as a nanny. You know, last week you were complaining that nobody would have hired that nanny in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle without a better interview. How much better chance do you think that a complete stranger would have of becoming the nanny to a top Nazi officer who lets her walk around the house while he has all the rocket plans in the basement?
Nice segue there from Ebert, because The Hand That Rocks the Cradle itself is this week's number 4 and finally dropping down from the top spot. It's 5th week on the charts, still doing very steady business. I'm not sure if it says much about the state of the box office in early 92 or if it's actually a credit to the film. It's a solid enough thriller anyway. still going very strong at this week's number 3, dropping just one place from last week's number 2. A very nostalgic, classic feeling women's picture starring Kathy Bates on a role from her psychotic role in Misery. She would have quite a time in the early 90s. Fried Green Tomatoes, this week's number 3, 27 million in total. The first of 2 new entries gatecrashing the top 2 this week is this Hitchcockian-style thriller Final Analysis starring Richard Gere, Uma Thurman, Basinger, sexing things up like only they can.
Do it. The other sister was a perfect lover.
Do you think you can help us?
Waiting to be seduced.
You didn't sleep with her.
There were 1,000 reasons he shouldn't get involved.
Doesn't feel right.
Do you always try to talk yourself out of what you want?
But he did.
I'd stop seeing the girl like. I don't know if I can.
Isaac, I'm married.
Yeah.
You tried divorcing a Greek Orthodox gangster.
I don't like people looking at my wife.
Robert Campbell has gone deep into the Amazon rainforest, into a world of astonishing beauty, a land of ancient mystery, where he's made an amazing discovery.
What is it you think you've got?
I don't think. I know.
And straight into number 1, yes, a new number 1 this week. It's 007 himself, Sean Connery, bringing his action charisma to the African jungles as the Medicine Man, alongside Sopranos and Goodfellas actress Lorraine Bracco. It's been years since I've seen this, so I can't really comment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll try and catch it up with it for next week. It could be a fun time or it could be a bit naff, but 10 million in its opening week, not a bad start to life for Medicine Man. See you guys.
Medicine Man.